Hello, hello, y'all. This is Dr. Traci Harrell, and what is so exciting is we are live at one of my favorite places. Yes, I know. Isn't it gorgeous here? We're in Renton, but we're waterfront. So today we're going to talk about living powerfully, the living powerfully experience. But really, we're going to focus on the best. We are invitation, global invitation for true transformation. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly does that mean? Now, if you know me, you know that I'm all about true change. Transformation means you go from what you say you want and really you do the work to get there. So, we're going to talk about something called the Better Together Empowerment Series. And I've been talking about this in various names, various ways for about 5 years. Yes. So, I spent 25 years in the corporate space. And what we know is it is always better when we do this type of work together. And you might be wondering, what type of work are you referring to? Well, the Better Together Empowerment Series is something that I've been doing as a leader of the National Black MBA Association Seattle chapter. Now, I'm excited to say that becoming empowered is not just for Black people. Even though the organization is called the National Black MBA, it was founded by Black MBAs. The Better Together Empowerment Series has 3 focus areas. The first one is this idea of creating and fostering diversity, equity, and inclusion, both in business and in life. And when people talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, you hear them say words like belonging and justice, and it's all of that. And it's for everyone, right? We want people to feel like they can thrive no matter who they are. That's what the Better Together Empowerment Series is about. It's also about fostering a feeling of community. That's why it's the Better Together. And it's specifically empowering Black business and Black wealth. Again, this will impact every business, but Black businesses happen to be 97% more likely to fail in their first year than others. That metric may not be exactly right, but you know what I mean. there's some challenges, right, that Black businesses tend to incur. So we're focused on Black business and Black wealth, but we're also focusing on youth development as well as professional development. So those are the 3 focus areas for the Better Together Empowerment Series, and we're layering that with something that's called the Living Powerfully Experience. Now, the Living Powerfully Experience is my baby. So let me introduce myself. So my name is Dr. Traci Harrell. I am the immediate past president of the National Black MBA Association Seattle chapter. I'm also founder of a company called It's All Bigger Than Me Consulting, and we focus on consulting, coaching, training, and transformations. So once again, this is a global invitation for true transformation. In all those areas we just talked about, from a better together perspective, right? This concept of inclusion and business and equity, right? And this concept of really each of us getting to live our best life. So living powerfully is really the work that we're going to talk about today. So instead of me talking about one thing, I'm going to talk about everything, because basically at the end of the day, we get to drive change. If you want to change one thing, you can change all things. So let's talk a little bit about living powerfully. Hold, please. I'm literally at a waterfront location, and this visual is one of my happy little technology issues. We're going to keep moving. But concept of what does living powerfully, what does living powerfully really, what does it mean to you? Now, when I think about living powerfully, it has a number of different elements. I'm going to show a quick video, and we do need to show this video. So, can you play the next video? Most of you have probably seen this. It may or may not work. We may have to interject this as a post-production. We're going to edit this in as a post-production, but when you see this picture, what you know is this is Chris Rock at the Oscars, right? And Chris Rock was approached by Will Smith. Series, all those wonderful things that we say we want to create. The Better Together Empowerment Series requires, I'm outside, this is what you get when you're live and outside. So this is also a video. It's a beautiful surfer, and the wave is gorgeous, but it's also could be scary because it's a huge wave. And what I like to say is that life, right, it's made up of huge waves, and it could be scary, it could take you out. But that guy who's on that surfboard, he has the right tool to manage life, to go through life, to address this wave with courage. He's showing up. So what living powerfully and what this work we're going to talk about today is about, it's really about giving you that surfboard so that no matter what happens in life, you're ready, you're equipped, and you can't wait for the next wave. As a matter of fact, you're looking for the next wave. You're looking for the next Will Smith slap. I know, can you imagine? I really do mean that. You're waiting for something to happen because you self-manage differently. You see things differently. You are able to live truly powerfully. I know. And it changes everything. It changes your business. It changes all of your relationships. It's really powerful. So the next slide is also a video. There's a guy, he's blowing in the wind, right? And he can barely stand on his own 2 feet. Literally, he's being knocked down by the wind in this video. And what you'll see on the next slide is sometimes I know it's hard to stand on your feet, but you can also be in the midst of a storm and just be in peace and enjoy. Again, this one of my favorite slides. I don't know what happened on this one, but this is some people that I know who live powerfully, right? I see Oprah, Deepak Chopra, Celine Dion, some of the people that we know show up every day in service of others. And so what living powerfully is about is 2 things, right? It's the living powerfully with positive intelligence, which is really what we're going to focus on today. And the next level of that is something that I spent decades curating, and it's called transformational inclusive leadership. So it's living powerfully with positive intelligence, which is fantastic. I'm going to give you a quick overview today, and transformational inclusive leadership. Okay? And what that allows you to do, and again, I am serving as your coach. I'm putting myself into the universe, offering this gift into the universe, offering this invitation for true transformation as a gift. Because I know all the things that we say we want to do, we actually can do them. We can. It's possible, right? When you decide that you're going to invest with the level of intention for a different outcome. Invest with the level of intention for a different outcome. That's really what living powerfully is all about. So, as president of Black and Big, sorry. So what I wanted to say is this idea of living powerfully is learning how to do 4 things. It's about peak performance, wellness, and peace of mind We talk about healthy relationships, conflict management, all that good stuff, but also having a thriving business, right? So I do a lot of work with entrepreneurs. You saw in the Better Together Empowerment series, we said we wanted to focus on entrepreneurs, all entrepreneurs. This is how we can do that. This is how we do that. We improve systems by improving ourselves. Systems are made up of individuals. They're made up of human beings, right? And as humans, we get to decide if we're going to live optimally. I love that. So, what I'm going to do today is three things. My three favorite words begin with A. Yes. It's awareness, action, and accountability. I want to talk about PQs. It's a little bit more about PQs and what actions you can take. 3 simple actions. Just 3. We call it factor analysis, root cause analysis. 3 things you can do to change your life. I love it. And then we're also going to talk about accountability. So I'm going to help you to increase your accountability by providing an opportunity for you to join us on a journey of people that are committed to continuing MLK's dream. And that's a big dream. It's a huge dream, right? It's about getting to the next levels. I'm super excited. So if those are our 3 goals, at the end, remind me if I got there. Okay, so when I talk about living powerfully, really quickly, you all have heard of the term IQ, right? So you know what IQ is, right? It's about your intellectual capacity. EQ, on the other hand, is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is your ability to think differently, to connect with people differently. It's not about what you know. It's about how you connect with others and how people connect with you. So what I love about this is PQ, the survival side of your brain, and the right side of your brain is the thrival side. I love those 2 things as well. So when I shared that first video of Will Smith, right, that moment, that peak, it's those we different is the survival side. The right side is thrival. Guess where you want to spend most of your time? You guessed it. Thriving. Okay. It's all good. It's weird, right? Didn't look like that before. Anyway, we'll keep moving. It's okay. So, the left side of your brain and the right side of your brain, again, survival brain and PQ brain, the positive side of your brain. We're going to keep moving. You're going to keep moving. Thank you. So something weird is happening on my slides, but it's okay because this is what happens when you're live. So, living powerfully is about various saboteurs. So the first thing I'm going to have you do is pull out your phones, pull out a device, and look up positiveintelligence.com. Okay? I love it. So positive intelligence does a couple of things, right? It actually is the X factor for both performance and for well-being. Love it. This is a book. It's called Positive Intelligence. It was, I think it's about from 2012. It's a New York Times bestseller. Over 1 million people have read it. I think initially this said 500,000, but this is some old old content. Apparently, over 1 million people have done this work. Have been coached using positive intelligence based. So I love that as well. So I'm gonna have you go to your phone, right? Look up this is Bitly. You can also just go to positiveintelligence.com. Look halfway down the page. It's like discover your saboteurs. We also created a short little Bitly for you, and it's know yours _ living powerfully, and that'll take you directly to the link to discover your saboteurs. It's a really simple 5-minute assessment. What it's going to help you do is to identify your saboteurs. As a first step in the process, it's understanding what might most quick assessment, and then being able to do a deeper dive on why you might not thrive. That's really the beginning of living powerfully. Intelligence.com. What you're going to discover is we all have that number one saboteur, which is the judge. As human beings, our brains, right? It's designed to judge. It's designed to, from a survival perspective, it's designed to help us to identify what is safe for us and what's not safe for us, right? So if a dog bit you when you were young, when you hear a dog bark now, there's a reaction, a survival reaction that makes you think it's not safe. That's a judge, right? That's the same thing that happens with people. So go back. So we are focused on the sorry, this is my sign to go forward, and I'm a little too animated. I'll keep my hands to myself. So the judge is the number one saboteur. We all have it. But when you do the assessment, you'll see that there are 9 other saboteurs. We call them I'm around people who don't want to work, like when I'm excited. So it's just not only about identifying the gifts that you have, but like how might your gifts, when overused and when put onto others, how may they affect other people? That's really where this vision around assessing your saboteurs and being focused on your stage, that's how you get to survive and thrive much better, right? So that's the Tweak scheme. But I'm saying I'm showing up, giving this away for free. This is how I'm gonna commit to, we as the organization, how we're gonna show up and commit to continuing the dream. Okay, thank you. So this is not just about identifying some saboteurs, what might stop you from excelling. It's also about identifying where you can thrive. And so the work, all of the work is really called mental fitness, right? It's about creating a space where you will thrive in challenging times. There you go. Now, what I love most about mental fitness is that it is about the impact. It's about having results that are different than what you have today. It's metrics based, absolutely guaranteed to work. So we're offering a money back guarantee. I'm giving a bunch of stuff away for free. So just showing up, listening to this. If you listen and you really actually do things differently, you will change as well. But I'm also, for anyone who decides they want to be a part of this initiative moving forward, we're going to offer grants, scholarships, as well as money back guarantees. That's how confident we are that this works. Because I'm not trying to make money, I'm trying to change lives. This is about a global invitation for true transformation. I don't want anyone to say that I didn't know, I couldn't afford it, nope, not gonna happen. Because what's gonna happen is, once you as a leader decide you want the best for yourself and your team, you now have created a new expectation for what success looks like. Hear me. And that creates the foundation for you to build so much more. When we talk about equity and inclusion, you can't even think about equity and inclusion until you can agree on what success looks like. You agree that this is how we're going to interact as human beings. Believe it or not, that does not exist. So this is not for everyone. This is for people who truly want to change, who want the best in their life, and they want the best for their teams, they want the best in their organization, and they actually want to leave a legacy. They want to be a part of real change. I'm calling this my mountaintop experience, baby. I'm so excited. Okay, so it's about impact. Now, what I love about this, apparently, slide, which has 4 elements, it's about the neuroscience of the brain, cognitive behavioral psychology, performance science, and positive psychology. So these things are research-based, 100% proven. That's why we can guarantee results, because if you do the work, you're going to get results. Period. It's how the brain works. I love it. So again, it has a research-based foundation, but it also includes results from this is old data too, right? It's keep going. It's like I said, it's 1 million people, a bunch of executives. It's amazing. And what I love most about it is we call it the power of factor analysis. So if you think about colors, right? All colors in the world, in the universe, all colors are based on 3 primary colors. Just 3. Factor analysis, right? Red, blue, and yellow. All other colors come from that. So if you think about actually driving change, we do the same work. And so we do the same work as it relates to changing your life, living powerfully. The results of the research says there's only 3 things that you need to do to change your life. 3 simple things. Minimize or intercept your saboteurs, those things that will have you acting triggered, hijacked, and otherwise optimal in your life. We all have them, right? And oftentimes we think, well, I'm just human. Yes, but you can be your best human self, right? You can show up much more intentional. So when you intercept the saboteurs, that's just acknowledging that they're there, acknowledging what they are, seeing them for what they are, and then choosing something different. That's literally all it is. It's that simple. Imagine if Will Smith, instead of running up on that stage when he saw his wife, feelings getting hurt, rolling her eyes, or whatever the case may be, him getting triggered about his mother, and I read all the interviews, right? Him getting triggered by his mother, feeling like he was protecting his wife and running up on the stage, and I already told, all the stuff, the lies that we tell ourselves in our head, right? If you forget all of that and you decide instead, if he had decided that instead what he was going to do is he was going to reach over and grab his wife's hand. Imagine sitting right next to his wife, grabbing her hand and saying, baby, I love you. You're so beautiful. Can you imagine the different outcome? That's what happens. That's the fork in the road. When something happens and you get to decide differently, you have to react on the thing, right? No, you get to decide something differently. So that's what living powerfully is all about. So, intercepting your saboteurs, go back. Thank you very much. Intercepting your saboteur. Number 1. Oh. Wow, that was shenanigans. But we gonna keep it moving. Positive. Okay, crazy. I see you, but we came here to give out an award. So I'm gonna keep it moving. That is about sage. That's the practice. When I showed the wave, right? The more you learn about yourself, the more you learn about what you can do differently, and how to just leverage your own powers. And they are superpowers, by the way. I'll talk about those here in a little bit. But how to leverage your superpowers. There's nothing, absolutely nothing that can stop you from continuing every day to get better and better. So then you'll be looking for those challenges. Something happened today that I probably should have been like, what? And I was like, oh, yay, an opportunity to demonstrate my sage. Like, oh my God, it doesn't matter. That kind of stuff doesn't. I get to choose how I react to stuff, right? So do you. So do we all, right? So I love that. And yes, we're outside and it's okay. So the next slide, this human brain that we all. So mastering the human brain is all about truly driving change. We got people here. That's okay. I didn't rent out this dock. I'm in a public place. So what I wanted to do is to say, how do we drive change? You can go back. Thank you very much. You can go back. So how do you actually drive change? You see this visual of the butterfly? The butterfly starts as a caterpillar, scooching along on the limb, and then it becomes a different creature when it becomes a butterfly. That's what mental fitness is all about. That's what this PQ, or positive intelligence, that's what living powerfully is all about. Wouldn't you love to say, by the end of this year, not next year, this doesn't have to be a next year thing. Hey, you got 3 months. Be your best. Your more information that you need, and we can show you how to go deeper. There's an app that you can use when you join us. We actually have a team modules that you use. It's not just for you, it's for your team, it's for your organization. Then you also get with your you get like 4 free seats for your family. It's a beautiful. We're back. I think we're back. We're getting back anyway. So we're outside. We decided to risk it today to see what it would look like, see if I could capture some great content outside between the children and the planes and the trains. It's all good. So we're coming back on. So again, that visual that you were just looking at was really this idea of moving from a caterpillar to a butterfly, changing at the DNA level. And you can. We can. That's what living powerfully is all about. Thank you. So I'm also excited to talk about the sage. We said the first thing you're going to do is you're going to look at and you're going to address your saboteurs, right? So you're going to address those things that are the challenges for you. It's a free 5-minute assessment. Again, go to positiveintelligence.com. Halfway down the page, there's some great insight on the page. The website is amazing. But halfway down the page, it says, discover your saboteurs. It's a 5-minute assessment. You're not supposed to be thinking about it. You're literally supposed to go through it relatively quickly. You can take it as many times as you want. But it's how you discover your saboteurs. That's step 1. And if this is based on positive psychology, you might be like, well, why are we starting with the bad part? It's not bad. It's just information, info. Then you want to spend your quality time here on the sage. The sage are those superpowers. The sage is the positive part of your brain. It's the part of the rational side of your brain. It's the part that allows you to live truly powerfully. You identify those things, you see them, and you're like, whoop, nope, enforcement, right? Peace and calm and all the things that we would hope for. That's what the sage allows us to do, is find joy, find perfect peace. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the sage. The key, I'm talking slow now. The key to this entire transformation starts with mindset. It starts with believing one thing, what's on this page right here. We call it the sage perspective. That's the key, right? The sage perspective says that every outcome, every problem, every situation can be turned into a gift or an opportunity. Everyone. I could go into that. I'm from Florida, so there was a lady, we learned something called MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I don't know if you ever heard of that. It was a lady, her daughter was killed by a drunk driver. Horrible. I don't know if you guys know, but I was hit by a drunk driver. I'm still suffering from PTSD today, literally. I drive, sometimes tears are running down my eyes. I'm freaked out. It's horrible, horrific. But I show up with a smile on my face because every negative situation can lead to a positive outcome. What this lady did with the most horrible experience, that her daughter was killed by a drunk driver, she created an organization called MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, to bring awareness to the perils that can come from drinking and driving. Right? I grew up with that in high school. No one wanted to drink and drive. It was cool to get the keys from somebody, like that was a cool thing to do. That was called inspiration. That was someone taking a negative situation and turning it into a gift for others. Did it bring her daughter back? No, but what it did do is it allowed her to contribute even greater to the universe. That's what living powerfully is all about. So this sage perspective, this concept says, and there's thousands of examples of that, right? But the concept says that any problem, any situation can be turned into a gift or an opportunity. And let me tell you a little bit about what those gifts are. So again, remember that fork in the road? We talked about that. When you come to the forks, this is when you get to pause. You just have to stop, right? If you recognize, one of those saboteurs, they're so cute. When you go through the assessment and you see the pictures, the little caricatures of each saboteur, they're meant to be funny. Like, it's not meant to be a criticism. Oh, you have this thing. Hey, we all got some things. We all got saboteurs. If you're human, you have saboteurs, right? So it's okay. But what you get to do is you get to see them and say, yep, not today. I'm not doing that. I'm going to do something different. So it's back to that fork in the road, pausing and choosing something different. Choosing not to go down the path that your saboteur would normally have taken you, and choosing to go along with the sage. So pausing to say, you know what? Okay, sage perspective, whatever the shenanigans is happening right now, I'm going to believe that something good can come out of it. I'm going to believe that. I'm going to choose to believe that in this moment. That's where it starts. Okay? Now, then you practice this, what we call the 3 gifts technique. 3 gifts. So you've all, if you're business people or anyone, most people have heard of these terms, KPI, right? It's key performance indicators. What I love about positive intelligence is everything has some type of metrics. So you can measure your success, you can measure your progress along the way. It's super cool. But I use the term KPI simply as an easy way for you to remember what the gifts might be. Because when you're in the middle of shenanigans, something negative has happened, someone has triggered you, someone has, said something to your wife, whatever the case may be, right? There's, it's the survival part of your brain. It takes over. So you get to pause, you call them, and take a PQ moment. Sometimes you just breathe. Sometimes you can just breathe. And then remind yourself of the sage perspective that every situation can be turned into a gift or an opportunity. And then you ask yourself, okay, what are the possible 3 gifts? What are they? So you think about KPIs, right? It could be the gift of knowledge. It begins with the K. The gift of knowledge, right? It could also be the gift of KPI, the gift of power. You now have, you went through something, you're stronger now than you were. It could be the gift of perspective. Hey, I now know something different than I did before. I can now, I've had an experience. Probably not one I would have wanted, but I know something different now. The I, KPI, the gift, right, could be information. It could be insights. I now know something new. Next time this happens, it won't take me down. Next time this happens, I'm going to be able to help someone else who might be having a similar experience. So the KPIs, the gifts, right? This is you deciding, I want to live powerfully. I want to do something differently. I want to drive change. So I'm super excited about that. That's just the tip. If you get nothing out of this, remember the sage perspective and think about the next time something is happening, what possible gift could come out of this? Now imagine if you had 6 weeks to go through and learn about your own saboteurs, to think about the sage, to think about how and practice. That's what mental fitness is about. So this is not just me talking, it's about you doing, you choosing to do something differently. So I could not be more excited. Okay. So again, you might ask yourself, okay, that sounds good, Tracy, but is it true? Is it really true? Really? Like, what's true? Is something bad or is it good? Right? Is your saboteurs telling you the truth or is it your sage? And guess what the answer is? Whichever you believe, that's the truth. So again, there's 10 saboteurs, there's 5 sage powers, lots that allows us to talk about the tours, the 5 sage powers. Thank you very much. But what we're going to do is we're going to continue to focus on just the 3 simple things. The 3 things that you get to do to live powerfully. Minimize your saboteurs, increase your sage, and then your self command muscles, right? That mental mastery, that self mastery. That's what living powerfully is all about. Taking the pause, bringing the control back to your prefrontal cortex, because we all get triggered, and deciding differently. And it's not just saboteurs. I promise you, once you discover your saboteurs, you'll get some rankings, some ratings. It's going to look like this. You're going to get some scores. It's going to actually have a number next to each of the saboteurs, which will provide characteristics. It'll provide insights. It'll provide the youth, like what like the lack of confidence, right? Anything that's negative, that is from a saboteur. So all you got to do is, like, when you feel something negative, recognize, oops, saboteur. Okay, bam. Now I need to do something differently. You don't have to go psychoanalyze yourself for 3 years. You don't have to do. I'm not saying the I have a therapist, so I'm not saying this. I'm feeling some negative energy. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna do my PQs, and I'm going to activate in a more positive way. I'm gonna choose to activate through positive intelligence, through some PQs. I'm gonna choose differently. I love that. So again, You may you might find success. Not have to. Okay, I think we got internet back. Yay. So with Sage, what I can tell you is you will be able to generate sustained happiness and maximum joy, maximum success by amplifying your sage. Remember, only three things you got to do: minimize your saboteurs, increase your sage, and focus on self-command, your mastery of yourself. Right? That's how we change systems, is we change ourselves. We know that. But we haven't really had the tools to really focus on the how. And this changes everything. This helps you to be more productive in your organization, at home, relationships, everything in work, right? Conflict management, relationship management, all the things, team building, helping others, empathy, well, glad that you asked. It's pain. It's a trigger. Yes. Right? It's only for one second. Before is where you find. I'll just start over since we for a second. Okay, the sage is where you find maximum peace. It's where you find calm, reason, and all those wonderful things, right? And so you're open to the sage perspective. Once again, I'm just going to repeat it. Every situation, every problem or outcome can be turned into a gift or an opportunity. We talked about what that looks like, right? So you would do a 10-second PQ together. I agree. This is kind of how we started with that beautiful side for a reason, y'all. I didn't just come here to be by the water just for my health. I came here to demonstrate this is where I find peace, right? This is where I find peace. So living powerfully is about doing the 10-second PQ rep, right? 10-second PQ rep. Yes, I love it. Yes, you can go back. I'm sorry. I like to show the water view as much as I possibly can. Nathan's working it. So the 10-second PQ rep is what you do when you're not feeling optimized, right? I picture a water view, that beach scene here, whatever, right? Like I had someone yell at me the other day, and I was like, not right now. I was wanting to yell at someone else. Not ready. No, I'm not gonna do it. Like I get to decide. When crazy things happen, you get to decide how you move forward. And starting with just a 10-second PQ rep. PQ is positive intelligence. It's about being in the moment, right? It's not about thinking about what could have happened, yesterday, what might happen tomorrow. It's about being in this moment. So then they have you do things like breathing, 4 deep breaths in and out, 10-second pre-Q rep, takes no time at all, right? Touching your hands together. You can even just touch your fingertips together. They say touch your fingertips together slightly in such a way that you can actually feel the grooves on your fingers, right? You're just focusing on right here. So you're not focusing out there. I'm not focusing on the plane. I'm not focusing on Nathan. I'm not focusing. I'm right here. So whatever's happening, I'm here. And you just bring that control right back here to that finger or your hands. It's cold out here actually. So I'm rubbing my hands together, right? You can be holding your phone, touching your computer, sitting in a chair, feeling your butt on the chair, your feet on the ground, whatever it is. You're like present in the moment. That's a PQ rep. That's the beginning. And then there's a whole series of things that you can do that we call mental fitness. It's like a PQ gym, all kind of words and sounds and all kind of great things that help you to optimize. But I'm just giving you the high level stuff for free because I want you to know that it's possible. It is in your grasp. So 10-second PQ rep. I had to pause here for just a second because I wanted you to know it's possible. It is how we can thrive. I love it. Now, this is the simplicity of what we call the new operating system. The reason I'm saying I call this the invitation, right, to true transformation. I called it that simply because it's an invitation to true transformation. It's a new operating system, not only for yourself, but for your team, for everyone in your household, right? For your organization. You get to decide, we're going to do something different, right? We are going to decide if I feel any negative emotion, I'm just going to stop. I'm going to recognize that is a saboteur. Doesn't matter which one, right? You can do that work. That's great. But any negative emotion, any anxiety, any stress, any feelings of anger, right? In today's society, there's a lot of shenanigans, right? I decide I don't want that. I don't invite that into my life. And when you feel it immediately, put on the brakes and just say, no, I choose not to. I choose not to go that path. That's the number one step. Just stop. Don't run up on the stage like Will Smith did. Don't do that, right? Don't do that. Pause. Breathe. Like I said, if he had reached over and grabbed his wife's hand and said, baby, that's me going ghetto. Baby, you are so beautiful. You are so gorgeous. Right? Think about that conversation that he could have had. That's choosing differently. Now, I get he has trauma and drama. We all do, trust me. But you still get to choose differently. Okay, so step one is when you feel any negative energy, any compulsion, any anxiety, any activation being triggered in any way, pause, stop. Recognize it as a saboteur and decide, nope, I'm not going to do that. Decide that I'm going to pause, right? That fork in the road I've shown you now 3 or 4 times. I'm going to pause. I'm going to choose differently. I'm going to breathe. That 10-second PQ rep, I'm going to breathe 4 times. Slowly in. Slowly out. 4 times. Breathe in. I'm just not going to do whatever I would have done had I not chosen to do something different. Living powerfully is about choosing differently. It's so fundamental that when I say it changes your business, your life, your organization, you're like, really? I promise you. That's why I'm giving it away for free, because it's like, when my days have come, it's for everyone. Black, white, red, blue, green, right? For executives, the garbage man, right? I love my garbage man. You know what I'm saying? People who do whatever you do, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This is for everyone. We all get to choose differently. So if number one is when you feel something negative, you pause. Identify it as a saboteur. That's number one. You do some PQ reps, whether you pause, you touch your hand, you touch your butt, you look at something in a distance, you look at the water, you look at a bird, you choose anything, right? You can decide, hey, I'm just gonna stand here and look out at the view, right? I'm gonna watch the sunset. Oh, look, there's birds. I don't know if you can see. There's some beautiful birds up top. You're in this moment. You're not in a different moment. You're right here in this moment. That's what the pause is about. When we say do a PQ rep, it's as simple as just saying, I'm here. Yes, thank you. I'm here. That's a PQ rep. And then you're going to assume the sage perspective. That means repeat out loud that every situation, problem, or circumstance can be turned into a gift or an opportunity. So you have to say it out loud. You have to remind yourself, right? It's subconscious. It's also, it's conscious. You got to like, hello, you snap yourself out of what you may have been doing, right? Every situation can be turned into a gift or an opportunity. This is again, I'm making this very simplistic because I wanted to give something away for free that will change your life forever. So if you did nothing but this, you'll be like, Traci, good job, right? Every situation. Then I mentioned the gifts, the KPIs, the gift of knowledge, power, perspective, information, insights, all of that. Those are the gifts. We got a whole process of you working through that. There's also 5 superpowers when it comes to being sage, right? This power of empathy, activate, empathy, explore, innovate, navigate, and activate, right? We can talk about all of those. It's just transformational. But all I'm asking you to do right now is pause and not do whatever you were going to do. That's step 1. Deciding that it's a saboteur. I'm going to take a PQ break. I'm going to pause, and then I'm going to choose this sage perspective. And then I'm going to generate various positive ways to think about what outcomes could happen. There's a whole series of, I'm offering myself as a coach. There's a whole series of things we can do, but I'm also going to bring this to you for free because that's how I choose to show up in life. I know, it's exciting. Okay, so this is the new operating system. So the question is, Traci, is it really true? Meaning, is it really possible for you to shift from a saboteur to a sage response, like even when like the craziest thing is happening? Of course it is, but it's not going to just happen, right? It takes practice. So you see what this says? It says you have to exercise your mental muscle. Exercise your mental muscle. So it's not going to just happen. Thank you very much. So lasting positive change, it's not just about the insight. I'm giving you some information. The green part, what does that say? 80% is about exercising your mental muscle. 80% about you is about you choosing to do something differently. Mental fitness. So there's an app, there's a group, you do this work in community. It's so beautiful. This is what change looks like. I couldn't be more excited. Thank you. So success does require an intense initial practice. So we are inviting you to be a part of a 6-week program, right? 15 minutes a day for 6 to 8 weeks. And I love this little quote here. It says you can't, what does it say? It says you can't defeat a gang of 100 bandits by sending in one bandit a day, right? You got to just go in. I'm all in. So we're basically saying, are you all in? Do you want to live powerfully? Do you want a different outcome? Have you been battling some things and you're like, you know what, I really should be over that by now? I'm actually doing that for a number of, there's some areas of my life where I've totally been blessed. Other areas where I'm like still struggling, and I'm going to be doing it with you too. So don't get it twisted. I am way better than I was, but I'm on a journey as well. So we get to go on this journey together. It's so exciting. So yes, 15 minutes a day. And so this is what the Positive Intelligence Program is. This is my gift to you. We're going to actually be doing a 6-week program. It requires you watch a 1-hour weekly video. Sorry, I'm reading this now. 15 minutes a day of practice on an app, which you will get. You're going to get to read 8 chapters in this book. It's all on the app as well. So it's exceptional. You can just go read the book. Intelligence. Okay, we just lost our signal, so I'm going to say that one more time. You are 500% more likely to complete any task when you do it. It's simple, right? Our are very simple. I said I was going to focus on the 3 A's: awareness, action, and accountability. I made you more aware. Hopefully I gave you 3 actions, multiple actions that you can take, but I'm also creating a space for you to be more accountable. This is a formal invitation for you to invite yourself, your team, your family. Oh, and by the way, when you join it with me through our Teams module, right, as a part of this organizational transformation that we're driving, you also get 3 free seats for your family. So if you're changing and you're doing this for your company, you also, each person who works with me, you're gonna get 3 seats for your family, 3 like online apps, and then they'll be able to watch the videos and all this stuff. It's so cool, super duper duper cool. Like it's amazing, it's transformational, like for sure. So awareness, action, and accountability. Here's the invitation. Thank you very much. So on October 26th, which is the fourth Thursday of next month, I am kicking off a formal invitation, an activation. I'm calling it a $1 billion community activation. So I am inviting you, whoever you are, I'm inviting specifically, there's an organization called WEAR, Washington Employers for Racial Equity. They actually did a lot of work similar to what we said we were focused on with the Better Together Empowerment Series. There's a lot of great work that's already happened, and so we're going to help to amplify their work by providing this at a very, 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 very discounted price so that every person in those organizations can thrive, right? And just don't get it twisted. This is about you having a better organization, higher performance, higher revenue as an entrepreneur, as a corporate wellness, engagement for your team, deeper engagement within your organization, conflict management, relationship management. It's all the things. So it really is life changing. So we invite you to be a part of change, and this is how you can find me. That's right, Dr. Traci Harrell. You can find me at Traci, Traci at itsallbiggerthanme.com. My number is right here on the screen. Sorry. There's my number, people. You see it here. So text me. Don't call me. I don't really answer my voicemail anyway. But you can text me, and if you're interested, I prefer if you email. And then you can find my website. My website needs to be updated. But the point is, this is who I am. This is how you can reach me, text me. Just saying. But I'm here to show up. I'm here to show up. This was about a true transformation. This is an invitation to true transformation. I think that's all I got for you today. More to come. Living powerfully. If you haven't done your assessment, you can do that too.